Did Mother Nature get this wrong, or did we? We're going to talk about vitamin K today. And because I just saw a couple things, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I am studying to be a nutritionist, and I'm speaking from a layman, normal guy approach. This is Anthony Stewart. This is Food for Thought. And we're questioning everything they've ever said. And today I saw a video on vitamin K. And I've been doing some reading and some research on vitamin K, and it's very confusing. Meaning, if you go online and you Google an RDA or vitamin K, sources of vitamin K, it's all over the map. Now, what I tend to do is inject some logic into this. Now, what do we know? We know heart disease is the leading killer, the leading cause of death around the world. And it's growing, exponentially growing. The odds of one of three people dying of heart disease is very, very possible. And you don't have to be a doctor to look at this stuff. So we know that. Now, heart disease all over the space, does LDL, does cholesterol, does saturated fat cause heart disease? There's two sides. There's a lot of sides. What do we know? Well, generally when you look at a coronary arterial calcium score, you're looking at the plaquing and the calcium deposits around the arteries leading into the heart, showing the disease progression. There's my thoughts on cholesterol. The LDL molecule, which is a low-density lipoprotein, it's actually not cholesterol. It's the bus that carries cholesterol and other things, which we'll get into in a minute, around. If it's damaged, it's probably not a good thing. What causes the damage? Oxidative stress, oxidative damage, inflammation, all that stuff probably has a lot to do with it. But let's look at this now, vitamin K. If you Google vitamin K, they will, right away it says sources dark leafy greens, kale, spinach. Well, I have an argument to that, and this is why. What did we do before there was kale and spinach? How was this a major source of this K vitamin? And what is the K vitamin for? Calcium, it helps vitamin D mobilize calcium from the bone or put calcium into the bone. And it also is anti-clotting, has anti-clotting factors. So what do we know about heart disease? Heart disease, calcium, plaquing, damage LDL, and clotting, thrombotic clots that will lead to stroke or a heart attack. So if K vitamins help mobilize calcium, keep calcium regulated in the blood from the bone, is supported with vitamin D and vitamin A, and it has the anti-clotting, the thrombotic effect. So then it would be probably a good idea from my logical mind, thinking that we should have the best form of vitamin K. There's two forms, vitamin K1, vitamin K2. Lots of different ones in the middle. Like there's different MK, I think there's 8 of them, 9 of them, MK7, MK4, irrelevant. What source? How does vitamin K happen? It happens from bacteria. Cows eating grass are higher in vitamin K because they ferment the stuff, which is funny because natto and sauerkraut are great sources of vitamin K2, which are fermented, pre-digested, and then we can absorb that in the gut. So it's interesting where these vitamin K sources come from. So now the best animal sources of vitamin K2 is butter, funny enough, and hard cheeses. There is obviously K2 in fat of meat and stuff, but we're just going to get into this sort of logically here. All the foods that they tell us not to eat, high fat, it's a fat-soluble vitamin, for one. Fat-soluble vitamin. So logically, Mother Nature put that in fat that we consume. So arguing that a low-fat diet is better, maybe that's not enough K. Now, I know we can convert K1 to K2. We're not going to get into too many details here. I want to keep this sort of like from a a logical standpoint. If all the best sources of the best acting vitamin K are animal foods and fat from fat, it stops clotting and mobilizes calcium, keeps it doing its thing. All the foods that the Heart Association are telling us to cut back and not eat because it's causing heart disease. Do you see the paradox here? So they're telling us that the foods that cause heart disease are the same foods that help us distribute the nutrients and the factors in our body. Who's right? Who's wrong? This is the problem. You have to take a leap of faith. I have to take a leap of faith. I want to know what you think about this, because the contradiction out there in this space is unbelievable. You can find anything you want. I think you have to be proactive in your search and your trust and your ability to weed through the noise. Essential. Which vitamin K is a fat-soluble vitamin. Would make sense in nature that it comes from fat. I'm just putting it out there. This is my opinion. Nothing more. Just wanted to throw that out for you, for all the people that are kind of on like I used to be worried about, am I eating too much fat? Well, if the stuff that's killing you is also the stuff that potentially could save you, that's where we have it. So I want to know what you think about this. You know, how do you get your vitamin K? I mean, obviously, in a vegan diet, you'd have to supplement because there's no way to get vitamin K, MK4, I believe. Maybe it's MK7. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Just wanted to throw that out there today. Hope everybody's having a great one. Stay strong.